Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the agenda of the regular meeting of Freeport City Council this Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I will declare that there is a quorum present, that all notices have been legally posted, and I will call this meeting to order. At this time, I will ask Councilman Rosso to lead us in the invocation and pledges of allegiance. Please rise.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you right now for this, your world. Lord, we're so glad to be a part of it. We ask you, Lord, to bless this meeting tonight. We ask you, Lord, to be strong in our favor. We ask you to bless the troops overseas, shut in, bedridden, infidels. Oh, God, bless them, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we have citizen comments, and Miss Melanie Oldham.
Good evening, Melanie Oldham, 1206 West Broad. I'm just here speaking as a resident, and I'm going to go ahead and speak because unfortunately I can't stay for the whole meeting. So first of all, regarding clarifying the short-term rental ordinance, I'm so glad after Mr. Duncan brought it up that the city attorney looked at it, and once and for all, the ordinance will be clarified and the penalty per day. So when y'all get to that, I appreciate the lawyer and everybody else that clarified this ordinance. And then on regarding the demolition of 208 West Park, I think I don't know, I'm hoping that you all will take some more time to look at this. There's no hurry because, as you know, Main Street Historical Board, Miss Anna and others, we have a visioning session coming up. March 27th, I believe, and that's the time for all of us to put our ideas and input in, what would affect, downtown. So I think hopefully you all will, not vote on this tonight, but there's several unanswered questions, but again, thank you all for what you're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Rob Gesicki.
Good evening. I'm Rob Giesecke, Freeport Commissioner. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank y'all for letting me take this opportunity. I'm going to just scrunch down here. I hadn't talked to y'all in a while as a group. I just wanted to kind of give a quick port update on a couple things we've got going on there at the port. This month will mark the kickoff for Volkswagen's operations. Their first ship is scheduled to come in this month, so we're real excited about that. And then Del Monte, you may have noticed they've started some construction on their 80,000 square foot chilled cross dock. But they will start operations later this summer. They'll have some temporary quarters for that operation before the new building is ready. So we're real excited about the impact here, the economic impact. Between the two of them, and once they get fully operational, there'll be about 300 jobs here in the city of Freeport. The other thing I wanted to talk to y'all about, and this is not, I don't want to overplay the impact here. It's not going to change the face of the city, but over the years, the port had accumulated lots, scattered residential lots throughout the city, and we've identified about 15 lots that we've got that we have no use for, and I've been asking, why do we still have those? And the answer was, we don't really know anymore, because we don't have a use for them. So we, at the last commission meeting, we took a vote, and so we've started the process to divest ourselves of those lots, get those back into private hands, get them back on the tax rolls. So again, thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity. Have a good meeting.
Thank you, sir. Miss Anna Silbus.
Good evening, Council.
evening.
Tonight, I am here on a Syllabus Main Street Coordinator to invite you all, along with the public, to attend our community visioning session that we will be hosting on March 26th at Freeport River Place from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This is in conjunction with the University of Texas Center for Urban and Regional Planning Research to develop our downtown comprehensive plan along with our historic design guidelines. So this is also open to the public. We'd like to have feedback from all, as we want downtown to be, enjoyed by all residents and for visitors as well. So we've posted on the city website as long as with social media. So we hope you'll be able to attend.
What was that date again?
March 26th
Thank you, ma'am.
from 5:30 to 7:30.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll go into presentation and announcements. Yes, but it's item number 10. Community Service Awards, Lance Petty.
Thank you, Mayor. Doing something a little different tonight. We're going to recognize some individuals for their volunteer work throughout the city that really benefits the city of Freeport. And if Jacob would come up. On behalf of the city of Freeport, we'd like to recognize both of you, which they teamed up with Dow for a beach cleanup day. Your willingness to share your time by volunteering at Freeport Bryan Beach. On February 16, 2024, both Dow and Jacob teamed up for a beach cleanup day. I want to let you know just how much the city of Freeport appreciates your efforts in help keeping Bryan Beach a clean and safe environment for everyone to enjoy. Please know that your volunteerism is recognized and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, next, we got another one. Miss Backman, come on up. The Queen, is that what you said? All right, those of you that don't know, we had a warming center in January, and this is not the first time that Miss Backman's volunteered her time and money and efforts in helping supply food, organizing, and trust me, she's a leader when she's up there. She's bossing everybody around instead of getting us in line. But I'd just like to say that I'd like to recognize you for your continued support. Your willingness to share both your time and your talent by volunteering says a lot about you as a human being. Every time you volunteer, you make life better for those who are in need. But perhaps it is the fact that you are willing to share your time and talent, to lend a helping hand, and to show kindness and caring that makes the greatest difference in the lives of the individuals who are touched by your generosity. While I know that you choose to volunteer selflessly and without expectation of being recognized or rewarded, today I wish to do just that. I want to let you know just how much your dedication is appreciated and to make sure that everyone in the city is grateful for you. Please know that your volunteerism is recognized, appreciated, and cherished. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank y'all so much.
The next item is the consent agenda. We have 3, 4, and 5. Number 3 is consideration and possible action on the approval of city council meeting minutes from February 20th, 2024. Number 4 is consideration possible action approving ordinance number 2024-2722, amending polling locations for the May 4th, 2024 general election. Number 5, consideration and possible action approving ordinance number 2024-2723, amending polling locations for the May 4th, 2024 special election amendments to the charter. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Kane to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, we have a second from Councilman Rosso. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Regular session of the council business. Number 6, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2024-2842, authorizing a revision to the City of Freeport Policy Handbook, Chapter 8, Attendance and Leave Policy, Section 8.14, Leave Donation Policy. Ms. Fisher.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Back in 2022, the city created a sick leave pool. This provides for sick leave to be used by someone that has a life-threatening illness or injury that has run out of their leave time. Our policy does comply with IRS regulations. The changes that we are asking for is to increase the maximum hours per year that an employee can donate from 96 to 120, and to change the times that an employee can receive hours from a rolling 12-month period to each fiscal year.
Okay. And so my understanding of this is that if I worked for the city and I was sick and I ran out of my sick time, that other folks, other employees within the city could donate sick leave and I could use some of that?
Potentially. There is a pool. You have to donate to the pool to be able to draw from the pool.
Okay.
It can't be donated to any one person. It can't be donated from Lance to you, for example. That violates the IRS regulations, and you would both have to pay taxes on those earnings.
Okay.
So by doing it into a pool and having a committee determine when it's eligible, then that does comply with the regulations.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will make a motion to approve item number 6. Is there a second?
Mayor, I'll second your motion.
Thank you. Discussion?
We got a hand up.
Yes, ma'am.
She said that there's a board or a committee. Who's put in your committee?
Come on up, Nicole, real quick, to make sure you put that in the mic. And do a form.
You said you had a committee. My question is, who is included in your committee?
It is the department director of the employee, the HR director, and the city manager.
All right, any, good question. Any other questions? If not, I will call the question on the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried unanimously, 5-0. Item number 7, consideration and possible action approving resolution number 2024-2843 to amend the city's existing purchasing policy accordingly. Kathy Ezel.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
The changes that are being brought forward are based off discussions between the city manager and the finance directors. These changes will create stronger controls over purchasing and invoice payments. Some of the things that we're changing is recommended to be changed. The definition of capital equipment is to have a useful life of 3 years instead of 2. Redefine check requests. Add a definition of the payment authorization. Change formal bidding requirements from 50 to 30,000 with the exception of emergencies. Remove the mayor as an authorized credit card holder. Department credit cards are the responsibility of the department head, and change the ACM designation in the P card policy to the finance director. The standard useful life considered for capital assets is normally 3 years, and then changing the ACM and the P card policy to the finance director is because at the time this policy was created, the finance director was the ACM. These are based off discussions that Lance and I have had. Just to let you know, there was a change in state law. Instead of state law requiring formal bids at $50,000, It's now been moved to $100,000. We felt, based on the size of the city, that it would be prudent to bring things at $30,000 to council for approval and to formally bid them.
Okay, appreciate that. I did not know that I was an authorized credit card holder.
Yes, sir.
Has anybody?
You do not have a credit card, though.
Okay, yeah, so nobody's used it in my name?
No, there's not even one in your name.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I will move to approve the Resolution 2024-2843. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Kane. Further discussion?
I have a couple of questions and comments, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I think it's curious that the CFO, Mrs. Zell, is coming to council with a bunch of proposals to protect the money of the city, as the mayor knows, because the CFO and the city manager, their previous actions where we lost $345,000, which we will never get back. So I have a couple of questions for Mrs. Zell. I just reminded of a quote from a local here, local business owner, stating, well, that's just letting the wolf in the hen house, honey. And I'm asking, will these changes prevent us from losing money like the last time, like the $345,000? That's my first question. My second question is, with that $345,000, you knew it was illegal to transfer, but you did it anyway. Do these new rules prevent you from doing that again? And do these new rules require another person to watch? Does it prevent you from making illegal payments? And usually in accounting, you will have at least two people to ask to okay a large payment because two people usually prevents illegal actions. So my question becomes, does this new ordinance require three or four people to prevent illegal payments? And that's the first set of questions. And the last set of questions I have here is, do these procedures require a bond that you and the city manager, and the previous city's manager, didn't have? We don't want you and the next city manager to do this again. So I want to be sure that these require that you and Lance are bonded so that if you make any illegal payments like you and Kelty did, then the city has a chance to get their money back. Because right now, I don't believe we're going to get that $345,000 back.
And let me say before you answer, I don't believe that you made an illegal payment.
It was not illegal.
You made a payment that the city manager asked you to make. If hindsight is 20/20, we'd all be sitting pretty and be millionaires. But saying that, would you like to answer any of his questions?
I'd like to answer those questions,
Okay,
please.
go ahead.
First of all, I want to make something clear. The payment was not illegal. Yes, I've never denied that I signed to make the payment. However, it was based off false information that I was given. I trusted, and I should not have. But I had never had any type of place where I should not have trusted. As I've told Mr. Petty and assured him, this will never happen again because of the fact that we are making these changes. Secondly, all payments require two people's signature on the payment register for invoices. It requires mine or my designee if I am out, which is the assistant finance director. It also requires the city manager or his designee, which is usually the assistant city manager, before the payments are made.
What about electronic fund transfer?
They are just like checks. Once both signatures are on the payment, we cut the checks, we mail them. As far as electronic payments go, it requires, just like a check, the AP clerk puts the batch out there. I go in and second the batch unless, again, I am out, and my assistant finance director will second the batch.
Thank you, ma'am.
It requires two people to release the funds in the bank. This policy does change. Instead of using a stamp for which anytime an invoice is submitted, a department head has to sign the invoice. It is not processed without a department head signature and/or Mr. Petty's or my signature. I review all invoices to be paid before they go to Mr. Petty's for Mr. Petty's signature. He reviews them before he puts his signature on them. This is the process that has always been in place and will continue to be in place. Again, as I said, I trusted and I shouldn't have. We are honing in the policies, and now we're going to require a form rather than a stamp, so that everything, it'll require signatures up to over certain amounts. So all 3 signatures will be on the payment authorization form, as well as the packet to approve the checks to be issued.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You'll come up and please fill out a form. Uh-huh.
Good evening. Pamela Dancy, South Front Street. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I'm sorry. I care about everybody in this room, but if our CFO released money, Mr. Kelty told you to do that, is what I'm understanding now, and we didn't find out about this for a long time after, and now we're going to try to change things, which I appreciate that. But I still do not like the deceitfulness that the citizens are not aware of everything that's going on or how that went down. And I understand that Mr. Petty has gotten himself bonded. I think anybody that deals with money needs to be bonded. And Mr. Kelty was just bonded, I think, for 10 grand. That's certainly was not enough. And this, I'm a little upset about this and disappointed in our CFO for not, if she did bring it forth to you guys, then y'all are a huge disappointment for not letting the public know when it took place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dancy.
I do
That's
have
a
something.
little bit, that was a lot off topic, so if you'd like to get us back to the
I just
topic.
have one thing on the bonding.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Kelty had a $10,000 bond. I was the one who went to Mr. Petty and said that we were going to increase his dollar amount of bond. Because I am not required to be bonded as part of the charter, I've been told one company will not bond me because it's not required by city council in your charter or any language to be bonded. I tried to be bonded, but I was told because of the fact it was not a requirement of the city to bond the CFO, it was going to be difficult for me to get bonded. So if that is something that council would like, I will bring it forward to have an ordinance to have me bonded, because I have no trouble being bonded, because I've always been bonded no matter where I've been.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, I think anybody that is a part of the signature process for this procurement ordinance here needs to be bonded, and we definitely need to either make the change on the charter or an ordinance so that in fact is in place, and I'd say a minimum of $1 million. And if they cannot get bonded, then they are forfeited of their position. It's a simple thing. If you can't get a contractor to get bonded, you don't hire them. You certainly don't give them $345,000,
Okay.
and you certainly don't cover it up for 2 months when you know about it. And that's the problem I have. It's not that there wasn't a problem here, but it didn't come to light till 5 months later, and 3 months in, you guys knew, Bass and Kane. But I'm glad we're fixing it finally. I just have a problem with us hiring a babysitter to look over the babysitter that we had already.
Is your cowboy hat on too tight tonight?
I think your boots are.
No. Actually, I don't have boots on. I've got loafers, but that's okay.
Good enough.
All right. So with that extemporaneous nonsense,
By the
I will
mayor.
call the question. And all those in favor of the new bid purchasing policy, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Even Councilman Pena said yes. Wow, very good.
I said fix it, that's why.
Now,
And I've
there
been
you
asking
go.
for this fix for 5 months. Thank you.
There you go, good. Thank you, sir. Number 8, we are going to table
Yes, please.
the electronic funds transfer policy and procedures till next meeting.
Yes, sir. The whole document did not get put in there, and I'm not going to ask council to review the document tonight and make a decision. I will have it at the next meeting. I do apologize.
Very good. Item number 9, consideration and possible action approving ordinance, thank you, Kathy, number 2024-2724, amending the definition of short-term rental in section 155.201 of the zoning ordinance of the Code of Ordinances.
Yes, sir. Mr. Duncan at a past council meeting had presented to council that the ordinance did not pertain to collection of taxes on Airbnb businesses per the language stating the definition does not include hotels and motels. Staff directed the city's legal team to review the ordinance and make amendments to clarify the verbiage that Mr. Duncan referred to. Olson & Olson have reviewed the ordinance and recommended the amendment described in the definition. The amendment is to remove the language, "This definition does not include motels and hotels," under Chapter 155 Zoning Code, Definitions 155.201. This amendment is to clarify and remove confusion associated with the current ordinance. Staff recommends approval of the amendment to the short-term rental ordinance.
And have Olson & Olson verified that this amendment does not affect in any Airbnb that owes any unpaid taxes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good, thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-2724, amending the definition of short-term rental in section 155.201. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second your motion.
Thank you, Councilman Matamoros. Discussion.
I have a question, Mayor. Can you repeat your question that you just offered up to Mr. Petty? What was the question that the mayor had? I didn't hear it.
If Olson & Olson had reviewed and made sure that it didn't affect any of the taxes owed, or...
Correct, just any pending issues with short-term rentals. This, I mean, really, this doesn't change the law, it just clarifies the definition.
So or by that question, are we suggesting that anybody that has any unpaid taxes, that this does not affect that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to be clear on that. Because I have a couple of comments here as it relates to this particular ordinance. As you might expect, I own short-term rentals, has been documented at many of these meetings, and of course here in the local news rag and here at council. Anyway, I wanted to first off to say I have paid my attorney, as Mr. Petty had mentioned here, Mr. Chris Duncan, to look into this a couple of months ago. And I can tell you this, I am trying to fix this problem because it is broken. I asked Duncan's law firm to figure out how to fix this illegal tax ordinance so that myself and other short-term rental folks can pay taxes in the future. He came out to a previous meeting and outlined the fixes. And as it stands now, today, no short-term rental is legally required to pay those taxes. Now, I paid my own money out of my own wallet to fix this law, so that, in fact, I will have to pay my taxes in the future. What is best for the city is not necessarily best for me because it makes me having to pay more taxes in the future. Yeah, I'm actually going against my own interest, my own self-interest, trying to correct the ordinance. While these guys run up legal city bills with bogus investigations and crony lawsuits withdrawals, I'm the only person up here spending my own tax money to save tax dollars and help the city make more tax revenue. I'm the only one that understands the math, I guess, and I hope that the facts, or the local news rag here, has a new headline that says Councilman Pena pays his own money to pay more taxes and prevent City Hall from illegal taxation. But let me touch on this. The changes here in this ordinance do absolutely nothing to fix the problems. And we can go down this road and try to go to court and create more legal fees to line the pockets of Olson & Olson, or we can get this right. Just call Duncan's law firm and get this right. We can do this as an aside. We don't have to go to court and everything else because you're going to end up having a whole bunch of short-term rental residents and business owners. They're going to have a legal issue with this ordinance as it goes forward when the city tries to send their taxes, their tax bills, I should say. But let me repeat that. The changes in this ordinance as they stand now do absolutely nothing to fix the problems. I don't know if Tommy or Mr. Olson here got the wrong message and didn't understand, but we can look at the video because the ordinance doesn't do anything to fix the problem of collecting taxes. So here I am trying to prevent the city from creating more legal liabilities and unnecessary legal actions that only benefit either Olson's pockets or political opponents' agendas. You almost have to ask, is Olson complicit and doesn't want to put a stop to it because it makes them money? Just like the downtown buildings. That's a whole nother story I'll get to in a little bit. But I would like to request, well, let me just put it to you this way. This ordinance, as it's written right now, that we're going to be voting on, is going to be inviting new lawsuits against the city.
Mr. Councilman Pena, have you ever paid any taxes on your Airbnbs?
Yes, to the state, thank you.
Have you paid them to the city of Freeport?
The ordinance
No, sir,
is very
it's just a
clear.
yes or
The
no.
ordinance is very clear on what the rules
It's
are.
Just a yes or no?
I'm happy to have that conversation when all the attorneys are sitting down together
Well,
offline, or
we're-
we can go to court, and then we're gonna run up more bills. It seems like every letter that goes out is another $2,500 for Olson.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you just file a lawsuit against the Board of Advocates recently?
Pardon?
Did you just file a lawsuit against the Board of Advocates recently?
The Board of Advocates?
Yeah, here in Freeport.
You mean the Board of
Adjustments? Yes,
I
sir.
didn't do it for the Board of Advocates.
No, did you
Did I
file it
do
on
it?
the Board of Adjustments?
Do you understand why?
No, did you file a lawsuit on the Board of Adjustments?
Do you know that they actually filed an
Is that-
illegal motion on an illegal ordinance?
Yes or no?
An illegal ordinance. So if you get a bill
All
from
right.
the city that's illegal, are you just gonna pay it,
Well,
Bass?
let me do this. I pay my bills and I pay my taxes and I
Do
look
you pay
at,
the bills that are wrong? When your water bill is 3 times higher, do you just simply pay it, or do you question it? So I'm allowed to question it. So when the Board of Adjustments makes a decision that I can question legally, and the rules of the law here allow me to, afford
Yeah.
me to do that, as well as any other resident,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I take that opportunity?
so.
Because I want to be like Brooks?
so
I
you-
don't want to be like Brooks.
So you have filed a
You're just gonna
lawsuit
forget
against
about
the city of Freeport, sir? Again? Another one?
I am,
Is that yes
just
or
like my
just
water
a yes or
bill,
no?
just like my water bill,
Is-
I am disputing the bill.
Boy,
Thank
you can't even answer yes or no.
Well, I won't keep something secret for 2 months, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, the answer is yes. He has filed a lawsuit against the city of Freeport.
And that
and the
lawsuit
Board
is
of
a
Adjustment.
dispute of that bill,
So-
simply put.
There you have it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, well, you haven't paid your bills.
No, I
That's
have paid
fine.
my bills.
All right.
No, stop mischaracterizing it, Bass.
Okay,
I mean, what rhymes with Crooks Bass? Good grief.
there you go. So with that, I will call the question on this item.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I think because this issue pertains to Airbnb, which is the primary income source for Mr. Pena, I think he needs to recuse himself from this vote. So I would like to have Mr. Olson give us an opinion on that.
Mr. Olson, Mr. Matamores has no clue what my revenue or income is about.
And it doesn't matter, because we're
doesn't.
talking about an ordinance that affects everybody equally.
Correct.
So he is not legally conflicted from voting on this matter.
Okay.
Welcome to City Council 101.
Okay, well, very good.
Okay.
So now,
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm going to make one more comment.
yes, sir.
Here we go.
He's stated that 2 months people hit something, yet he's hit it for 8 years, his entire time.
Again, you have your math wrong and your
Again,
numbers wrong.
again.
You don't even have the numbers right.
It's my
Councilman,
time to
Councilman,
speak.
can you please
I-
let
Telling you,
Councilman
good
Matamores
grief.
finish?
If you're going to say something, say it truthful.
I am saying the truth.
Okay.
Too
Let's,
knowledgeable.
I have called the question, and let's have a vote on the floor.
Thank
So, all those in favor of ordinance number 2024-2724, amending the definition of short-term rental, section 155.201, vote by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Absolute yes.
All those opposed?
It's wasting tax dollars. Wait for more legal fees. No.
That's a no. Thank you, sir. Very good. 4-1, Councilman Pena is a no. Item number 10, we're going to actually table. Ms. McDonald, do you have a comment you'd like to make? Or Mr. McDonald? Mr. McDonald, okay. Yeah. I will guarantee your safety. How's that? But for the record, we're tabling it. We're not going to take any action on it, but I want you to go ahead and get your comment out.
Okay, I'm Randy McDonald. Good evening to everyone and everyone that's attending this meeting. My question is about demolishing 208 West Park Street. I own 206 West Park Street, which is the building next to it. And if this building is demolished and it tears down my building, who's going to be responsible for this? You know, this is where that's where I stand. You know?
Sure.
You know, right now, the way I see it, you know, if we had an exceptionally nice restaurant downtown, you know, we took both of the buildings and combined them together and made one real nice place, you know, I think that would be the right thing to do. Right now, where the economy is and the interest rates, I don't think it'd be in my best interest to invest $300,000 in bringing this building up to code right now. Here in the near future, I see where there's potential in the city of Freeport, you know, with the growth of the port and with their money coming in and Volkswagen. I think we should just kind of postpone on, you know, demolishing the building at this point in time, you know. It may be something that the city and I can unite forces on and put an exceptionally nice place there.
I tell you what, I'll have Mr. Petty, we have your information here, including your phone number. I'll have Mr. Petty call you tomorrow morning, and y'all can talk about it.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir, for coming up. You got that? All right, item number 11, discussion and clarification pertaining to the candidate application for May 4th, 2024 election. Mr. Petty.
Yes, sir.
So item number 10 is tabled, by the way. Okay. Carissa. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. This item is placed on the agenda for clarification from Olson and Olson on eligibility requirements for running for public office. Mr. Reyna applied for the May 24 election for the mayor's position. And after legal review of Mr. Reyna's application, Mr. Reyna was deemed ineligible to run for office. Mr. Reyna has questioned the legal ruling, and Mr. Reyna needs clarification on the decision process, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Olson.
Well, I had one of our associates look at this. It's really good at research, and Mr. Reyna did bring forth a bill that was proposed, and I think there was some confusion about whether or not it actually passed. So we went and looked at the history, and it never made it out of committee. So that bill was never signed into law, so that we have to go back and revert to what the current interpretation of that provision of the election code is. And you have a memorandum in front of you, and essentially somebody that's convicted of a felony, the only way that they're eligible, they can vote. The only way they're eligible to run for office in Texas is if they get a full pardon or clemency from a judge. So it requires court action. And that's the current state of the law. If y'all have any questions about that memorandum, it seems pretty clear to me, though, and if Mr. Reyna does not agree with the memorandum, he has certain rights, but it's really not going to be in front of you guys. It would have to be a court intervention. Mr. Reyna does.
Yes, sir, Sam.
Mayor, Council, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Sam Reyna, and I reside at 2002 North Avenue G.
Thank you.
The law of Texas remains as follows. To be eligible to be a candidate for or elected or appointed to a public effective office on the state, a person must have not been finally convicted of a felony from which a person has been pardoned or otherwise released from a resulting disability. Mr. Olson stated this has been interpreted by courts and the Texas Attorney General to mean that in order to restore eligibility to run for office, a full pardon or clemency from a judge is required. I don't know what courts Mr. Olson is referring to, but the Texas First Court of Appeals allowed Cynthia Bailey to remain on the ballot. Ms. Bailey had been convicted of felony theft. As for the Attorney General, his opinion is not where the paper is written on. Mr. Ken Paxton has had legal problems since he was a nominee for Attorney General. The Texas State Securities Board reprimanded Paxton for soliciting investment clients without being registered. That was in 2014. In July 2015, first year in office, Paxton is indicted by Collin County Grand Jury, felony security fraud charges. In 2016, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed civil charges against Paxton for allegedly misleading investors in a technology company. Senior employees sued Attorney General Ken Paxton, forcing them out of their jobs after they reported him to the FBI for alleged corruption. The allegations eventually led the Texas House to impeach Paxton for alleged bribery and abuse of office. He was acquitted after a trial in the Senate, but the whistleblowing lawsuit has continued as of today, and we're paying for his attorneys over $700,000 already. Attorney General Paxton is a person that has not been released from the resulting disabilities, and I have completely discharged my sentence. The current interpretation of the Texas Elections Code effectively banning all convicted felons from running for office violates the U.S. and Texas Constitution. Article 16, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution states, laws shall be made to exclude from office persons who have been convicted of bribery, perjury, forgery, or other high crimes. My crimes were not high crimes under Section 16. Under Article 16, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution, persons that have not been convicted of the above class of criminal offense are eligible to hold public office, which that put me in that class. I am eligible for public office because I have not been committed of a high crime. Not all felonies are high crimes. Thus, the Texas Constitution conflicts with Texas Election Code Section 141.001. Section 141.001A4 bars a convicted felon from holding public office, violates Article 1, Section 19, and Article 16, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution. I also have a right to access to the election ballot under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and such right may be enforced under Title 42 U.S.C. Section 1983. The reason that the First Court of Appeals is ruling on behalf of the appellants is because of the clause released from resulting disabilities. Nobody can get a complete interpretation of that phrase, and that's what the courts are having trouble with. For clemency, Paxton made that decision. That's his interpretation, and that's his opinion, and we all have our own opinions. That opinion from Paxton that you need a clemency, There's a lot of people that have filed an appeal to the First Court of Appeals. I gave you this before, and it got a name of all the people that have been in front of the court that the First Court of Appeals have ruled on their behalf because of that clause. That clause really cannot be interpreted for a good clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I need to be put on the ballot. Legally, I can be put on the ballot legally. I cannot be put illegally, but I can legally be put on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I have a question for Mr. Olson. If anything and everything that Mr. Reyna had just described changes his legal opinion?
Unfortunately not.
Any particular reason why?
Well, again, I had Paige Bailey in our office shepherdize this Attorney General's opinion to see if there was any Court of Appeals decision that would overturn it, and there is not. So currently, that is the interpretation, and I mean, it is an area that probably could be litigated, but to date, when it has been, there has not been a decision to overturn this position.
And were any of those folks on that list elected or allowed to be on the ballot that Mr. Reyna provided?
I don't know what list.
Okay.
I mean, I read it last meeting, but currently, I mean, I don't work on lists or articles from news reporters. I work on case law, and there is no case law to overturn this. So currently, this is the law.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm not sure there's anything necessarily for y'all to do tonight. Lance, I don't think that you were expecting action. There are remedies available to Mr. Reyna, and if he wants to pursue those, he can. And we have time. But I think currently the city attorney's position is that the law precludes him from being on the ballot.
Sam, you need to take this, print this off. I'll give you my copy, the letter and the AG opinion, and you need to take it to an attorney to look at. Okay, but, you know, my problem with your endeavor is this, I keep going back to, you talk about the First Court of Appeals, and to folks that don't know, there's gosh, I don't know how many appellate courts there are in the state of Texas, but the first and the 14th, how many? 14. So the first and 14th sit over our area, and then there's some for El Paso, there's some for Amarillo, and so forth. And then you would go from that court to the Supreme Court of the state of Texas. And then you get up into the situation where you go up into federal court, and folks can, and certainly I would think a state action like removing somebody or not allowing somebody to be on the an agenda or a ballot would be a state issue that would qualify for federal ruling. And I keep going back to United States v. Huff, which is a Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And you have, and I don't know how many federal courts there are in Texas, but there's the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is 5 judges, I believe, that are in Louisiana that control Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, maybe Alabama, and so forth. And so when you're getting up into federal law, you're getting into really strong suggestions. And I would just say that United States v. Huff says, concluding that defendant was not otherwise released from the resulting disabilities of his felony conviction under subsection 141.001A4 when his rights to vote and to possess firearms were restored. So this is saying that you have a right to vote and you may have a right to possess a firearm, but at this time you don't have a right to run for election. I think it's some interesting law, and I think you need to take it up and let somebody take a look at it. All right, sir. Thank you. With that, we'll go on to item number 12, consideration and possible action to authorize entering an agreement with HUB International for benefits, consulting, and actuarial services.
The city sent out requests for proposals for group benefit consultant services. This proposal was advertised twice in January. We received 6 proposals. Staff narrowed down the proposals down to 3 providers and interviewed all 3 providers. Based on those interviews, HUB International is being recommended to provide the city with benefit consultant and actuarial services. HUB International is one of the largest insurance brokers in the world and in the state of Texas. In the Texas public sector, they serve over 500 public entities. They have achieved over a 97% retention rate across the public sector business in 2023. The team providing the service to the city has an average of 19 years of experience in benefit consultant, and they also have a representative in the Houston area. The difference between the current benefits administration service provider and this one is the current one makes commission, which does city still pays it, but it's tacked onto the insurance premiums. HUB we would pay directly, and it would be a savings of approximately $14,670 annually. So it is staff's recommendation to consider HUB International for benefits consulting and actuarial services.
Why do we need this?
Because they're the ones who market our health insurance, our dental insurance, all of our ancillary coverages.
Have we used a actuarial service before?
Yes, sir. We've used them before. The current provider, Holmes Murphy, used Benefit Service Plus. They were the benefits consultant advisor before then. So we've had one for quite a while, since 2019.
And you say there's a cost savings of approximately $14,670. How?
annually, because currently our broker makes a little over $53,000 on the commission side of it. This side does not take into commission, and it's a base fee of $32,000. So we are saving $14,670 because it will reduce our premiums.
Got me. Thank you. I make the motion to approve entering into agreement with HUB International for benefits, consulting, and actuarial services. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Kane. Any further discussion?
I have a quick question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Zell, how many other, companies were contacted to bid on this particular service for the city?
We received 6.
6.
We sent out 5 and we got in 6.
And did Hub demonstrate the highest savings out of the 6?
They demonstrated based on the interview, based on their tenured employees, and based on that, that they have 500 public sectors where the current ones we have don't, and they have a market in public sector. And actually, the 2 people who would we be working with actually have retired from TML IRP, which no longer exists in the state of Texas, but it was the pooled insurance broker for health insurance in the state of Texas. And they have went out, and now they started their own company, and it was purchased by Hub International. So these people have so much experience and a wealth of knowledge that I think would benefit the city to help us bring in the better savings.
Thank you. No further questions. Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 13 is consideration of possible action to award the purchase of generators for lift stations 3, 4, and 14 to Worldwide Power Products in the amount of $99,800. Ms. Ezell.
The city has been awarded 3 generator grants through FEMA for generators at lift stations 3, 4, and 14. Each grant amount is $36,000 with a match of $4,000, the total being $40,000 per lift station. The city was required to bid the generators because of the purchase of 3 like items was over the $50,000 which is over the amount in our policy. The city went out for bids twice for these generators at lift stations. The first time we received no bids. The second time we received 1 bid in the amount of $139,469. That is over the amount that's allocated of the $120,000 that we have for these generators. So staff did additional due diligence, and we got a price from Worldwide Power using the TIPS co-op, and that amount is $99,800 for the generators.
So we will have to pay how much?
$99,800 for all 3 generators.
Yes, but we have grant money for?
We have a grant money for $36,000 times, let's see, 4,000. 120. So we have grant money for 100 and.
So, I mean, but we still have to match 4,000?
We still have to match the 4,000.
So we're going to have to pay 12 grand off of $99,000?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's
And
still,
that is already in the budget in Fund 22.
right, but the grants are going to pay for the rest of it?
The grants are going to pay for the rest of it,
All
yes.
right, well, good job on the grants. Lance, will you tell the audience why we need generators at lift stations?
Yes, sir. It's really a important role for a lift station to have emergency power to it, because this city has 29 lift stations, so all of your sewer transfers from station to station before it gets to the wastewater treatment plant. And if you don't have backup power at those locations and you lose power, then there's no pumping capacity there, and things start to back up, and you can't flush your toilets in homes and things like that. So it's very important to have these generators in place, and these lift stations here are brand-new lift stations that we just had replaced, and this is the final touch for these 3 lift stations here.
And they will be full-time, I mean, they will be there permanently?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the generators for lift stations 3, 4, and 14 to Worldwide Power Products. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Kane. Any further discussion needed?
I have a good question.
Yes, sir.
This one here is for Councilman Kane. Councilman Kane, you're in the generator business, And so I'm going to lean to your expertise. Are these dollars, are they in line with what you see?
I'm in the pump business.
Pump business, generators, but you have a pretty good knowledge of that. Do did these numbers look good to you?
I'm in the pump business.
Well, maybe a simple question, did these numbers look good to you?
They look better than the original numbers.
All right. And what were the original numbers at? Again?
$139,469.
No further questions, thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 14, Chief, come on up. Consideration of possible action approving resolution number 2024-2845, authorizing application for grant fiscal year 2025 criminal justice grant number 5104301, radio interoperability project.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So the police department has a few more grants that we're going to be applying for. So this is one of the grants that I'll be discussing this evening for radio interoperability. When I came here and everything, there was a lot of lack of being able to quickly and easily communicate with other jurisdictions. And so this is a way for us to be able to fix that, being able to expand on our radio, to be able to what's called patching in, where we can take like a channel from Lake Jackson or a channel from Clute and patch that with a channel for Freeport where everybody can communicate on one channel. So it prevents officers, dispatchers, fire, EMS from flipping back and forth on their radio to communicate with the different individuals, and it gives them the capability to be on just one channel and everybody have open communication for some type of major event.
All right, very good. I will make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-2845.
I'll second it.
And we have a second from Councilman Pena. Any further discussion needed? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Chief, item number 15, consideration of possible action approving resolution number 2024-2846, authorizing application for grant fiscal year 2025 criminal justice grant number 5107601, vehicle radio equipment project.
So this is another grant project for radios. So the current radios that we have out in our patrol units are over 10 years old. Motorola, in their infamous wisdom, allows equipment to hit a certain year, similar to where computer companies do, and then they say that equipment is end of life. They'll no longer repair it. They don't make parts for it, which is their great way of forcing you to need to buy new stuff. So with that and everything, we're coming up due on that, and since we found a grant that was eligible for that, this is the grant we'd like to put in to update that equipment.
And once again, these are just, for the folks in the audience, these are just us saying we support you in doing this and apply for it. This
Yes.
is not saying we have the money yet.
No, I mean, it's still going to be up to the different offices that host the grant to determine our application. But as a part of the application process, they require a resolution from the city saying that they agree and support, because there's certain rules that we have to complete with those grants.
Very good. I move to approve resolution number 2024-2846.
Second it.
We have a second from Councilman Pena. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 16, consideration of possible action approving resolution number 2024-2847, authorizing application for bullet resistant shield grant program 5075701.
Again, I love free money, and so always looking for grants for us to be able to go after. And this is the opportunity for some bullet shield resistance to be able to incorporate with our patrol and our CID officers. I was informed about this grant recently at a chief training, and turned around and hit up staff and was like, hey, let's kind of dig into this, because it was 100% covered. So an opportunity just for us to be able to get some more equipment to better provide our staff.
Very good. I will make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-2847. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second from Councilman Pena. Any further discussion necessary? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried unanimously. Item number 17, consideration of possible action approving Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for in-car camera services, excuse me.
So recently, we had updated some grants, changing over for the city, listing Mr. Petty and everything on those grants. This was with one of those grants where we are getting a new in-car camera system. And so part of that is a 5-year commitment to the company, where when you commit for the 5 years, you get the discount rate of the annual yearly service, which obviously is, again, something we'd be interested in. And so that's what I'm requesting to authorize for the police department to go into contract with that and for me to sign that contract.
And these are in-car camera inspections. They will, how are they stored? Is it disk, is it zip drive?
This will be in the cloud.
In the cloud?
Yes,
So-
sir.
And that's what the DA's office is doing now as well?
So the program that Axon uses is called evidence.com. And the DA's office is actually going to be having an account set up with evidence.com. And this will allow us to be able to just upload those videos through the cloud to the DA's office. Instead of right now, we have to turn around, make copies of the discs, print up the paperwork. Somebody drives over to the DA's office, physically hands somebody a disc. That person has to sign the paperwork. The person comes back to the police department, and then they have to do a supplement and turn that form into the case report.
It's definitely going to cut down on the chain of custody
It will
issues.
definitely cut down on chain of custody and just allow more man-hours to do other
Well, let me
things.
ask you a free question from the defense lawyer here. So how is the chain of custody going to exist? You're just going to have it by email saying that the DA's office received it?
And so for us and everything, we would turn around and list that specific item to be eligible to that specific person. And so let's say if you were the prosecutor that was assigned to the case, then we would turn around, submit for your email to have access to it for whatever period of time, and then you as the prosecutor would turn around and release that to any defense.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Mr. Selleck says they're going to be doing, is we're going to be able to get everything cloud.
Just a lot cleaner, streamlined. We did this in McLennan County where I came from, so I was
Yeah.
really happy to see Brazoria County moving
I
in
like
that direction.
having paper and a disc in my hand. So, okay, thank you, ma'am. I will move to approve the Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for an in-car camera service. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Well,
Go ahead.
no.
I'm sorry? Councilman
Councilman
Pena is a
Pena.
second. Any further discussion necessary?
I have a couple of questions, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Chief Howe, thanks for bringing this up here, and I think it's a valuable program for sure. I had a couple of technical questions, though.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be going to the cloud, the information, I guess it's all the live cam. So is that going to be stored locally to a hard drive in the vehicle first, in the case there's like either a poor signal and or no signal at all when they're out in the field?
So we're actually going to have a backup here at the police department, because then also too, we have to think of the aspect of if in 5 years or even before, if let's say Axon goes under for business-wise and then they close their door, that way we still have access to our videos.
So there's a local storage in the vehicle first and foremost?
It's just a temporary storage.
Okay.
And so then that turns around and uploads, like when an officer comes here to the police department, then that video uploads.
Do we know what the capacity of that storage is in the car, and for that matter, how frequently it'll be, I guess, cleared, I guess, at the end of the shift, so that the next officer can have a clean disc? Is that
I
it?
don't know the capacity, but anytime like the patrol car comes up to the police department, whether it's to meet a citizen, do a report, it automatically starts downloading.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
just
really?
curious what,
It doesn't, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So it has an automatic backup when it pulls up to the main server here?
Yes,
Wow. Pretty cool.
yeah, technology.
and, and then I guess the next question I have was, thank you for that answer. What is the warranty and repair agreement in terms of that equipment failing? Do we have any additional expense to repair any of those devices, and or do they repair them? And
So we had two different options and everything. We did have an option, everything, where there's the limited warranty, or we have the option where basically they just automatically replace things. It was a lot more expensive option. And so we did just go for the general warranty option. This is the same company that actually produces the tasers. And so, you know, we've had successful luck and everything, you know, with the tasers. There's a number of agencies that use Axon. And so, I mean, the warranty is limited, and I believe it's 3 years. I'd have to double check, but I think it's 3 years for the warranty. And so we would have a series of time and everything where we would potentially have any cost and repairs out of our
Okay.
own pocket.
And what was the total savings between being in the 5-year contract and not being in the 5-year contract?
That I do not remember.
I wish I had that information.
Well, it is in the paperwork. Their new
Yeah.
system will have an annual price increase of more than 6 times what we paid over the last several years.
And you made a very, very interesting comment. It reminded me of previous discussions that we've had here while I've been on council in terms of the viability of the company. Number one, how viable do you feel this company is, number one? And number two, if for whatever reason they should fail, is our data secure? And for that matter, do we have a backup plan?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, any company you go with could belly up at any minute, whether it's, Ford or Chevrolet and buying a vehicle or buying a camera system. Again, Axon has been around for a number of years. They're now at Taser model number, kind of similar to Apple. I think it's Taser number 10. And they originally, started, so they've been through a series of years. I would probably, and don't quote me on it, a guess of mine would be that they've been around for 15 to 20 years. And so, again, very successful company that has had, good turnaround. But, like I said, the mentality is you do want to prepare and plan if, if they do go belly up. So, like I said, that's why we wanted to have the backup of our data, so that way we would still have availability for that data.
But not necessarily a backup. But we don't necessarily have a backup provider at this point in mind.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
At that point, let's say it's, whether it's 1 year, 4 years down the road, if that happens, then we would want to go out again and see who's got the best product on the market at that time that's going to meet our department needs and our budget needs.
no, that makes sense. I like the Apple analogy there. And I will say also that, I'm glad that we are going to be limiting the chain of custody problems that we are facing now, but my biggest concern is the data integrity and making sure that there's no whoopsies so that it's lost, because I know there's always a lot of eyes and ears watching the police out and about, and when we lose information, it looks very suspect. So
Yeah.
do you feel confident that we're moving in a stronger direction so that that the chance of us losing any field video will be lost or be handled at a better, more secure level?
Again, I've had previous experience with Axon. I haven't had any negative encounters with them, and I don't know of any other agency that has. Is there always a chance that you have a piece of data that gets distorted, in some way, that there's some type of file that gets damaged? Those things do still happen, unfortunately.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it. No further questions, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 18, consideration possible action in approving Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for body camera services.
So same thing, the previous one was for the in-car, these are for the actual body cam, because it has the benefits of keeping everything on the same type of camera system. And so like for us and everything, when the patrol officers activate their lights, then that turns on the in-car camera. When you have the same body camera, you can actually program it where everything turns on at the same time. And so that's one of the other reasons why we'd like to stick with Axon for the body camera. And so same thing here, being able to go to the 5-year contract for them as well.
All right, I'll move to approve Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for body camera services.
Second.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second from Councilman Pena. Any discussions needed?
I have one question, Mayor, actually.
Yes, sir.
Chief, how you had mentioned the synchronization with the body cam as well as the in-car cam, dash cam. Is that automatically turned on when the lights are hit, the sirens are hit? Or, so they're all turned on at the same time?
So
once
yes,
that
you
switch
can
is on?
program it and everything. When the lights activate, then the in-car camera turns on, and then the body camera turns on. You can program it where they all sync up together.
All right. And when are the cameras turned off?
And so when they're manually turned off,
They're manually turned off? And that's usually at the end of the,
like at the end of the call for service, the officer deactivates this, and they go to their vehicle and then deactivate that.
okay, thank you.
Now, there used to be, this a few years ago, it was a DPS. If they had an issue with their officer, they would make them run with their body camera on the entire time. Do you ever have a situation where you feel in your administration that you have to have somebody run a body camera during their shift the whole time?
No, sir, I haven't had anything of that nature come up.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carried unanimously. Item number 19, consideration of possible action approving Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for the interview room camera services.
So where we have our interviews being held at, we also have a camera system for there. And so this is just the same thing, trying to keep everything with the same company. That way, we have kind of interchangeability, if you will. So this would be actually here at the police department.
All right, I will certainly move that we approve Freeport PD to sign a 5-year contract with Axon Enterprise for the interview room camera services. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Got a second from Councilman Kane. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried unanimously. Item number 20, consideration of possible action approving resolution 2024-2848, deeming items surplus and donating to a local agency.
So this is a number of handheld radios the police department replaced, I believe, a little over 2 years ago. It was prior to my arrival, where they replaced and updated their handheld radios through a grant. And these are some of the old handheld radios that were previously purchased through an older grant. We've had those radios. They've just kind of been in storage. And Oyster Creek Police Department reached out to us, asked and everything if we had still any usable radios, because they were kind of in a bit of a need. And then obviously we want to help out our neighboring agencies if we can. So we were wanting to see about having those deemed surplus and then going ahead and donating those to Oyster Creek PD.
I'll move to approve that resolution 2024-2848. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second from Councilman Pena. Any further discussion needed?
A quick question is, are the items simply the CB radios?
The radios and the chargers.
Okay, thank you. Nothing else?
And
No, sir.
what other items surplus? Is that it?
They're just, the handheld radio and the charger that
We're not
they
giving
don't.
them AR-15s or pistols or body armor or anything like that?
I don't have any to give.
Okay, very good. Well, you might come back next time and ask for it. All right, thank you, Chief.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
With us donating, if we vote to donate these, and you said we're donating radios plus just base stations, correct? Or base chargers?
Yes, the chargers.
Okay. If for some reason these items fail, will we be held responsible if something was to go catastrophic wrong during a call or something?
No, sir. It's just, it's just kind of a, used equipment type agreement that goes that we're not providing any warranty, we're not providing any guarantee, we're not providing anything as far as battery life.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Is there any kind of written agreement on that same note? Is there any kind of written agreement that we have that we convey that property and have assume no liability that we provide normally or not?
like, once it goes before council, passes council, then there would be something signed up between our police department and Oyster Creek Police Department that would state these were the ones that were being turned over, that this is their serial numbers. We would provide them, Oyster Creek Police Department, a copy of what council approved, and then just stating that there's, that there's no warranty and it's just these items and
No
they're.
warranty, no liability?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Chief Howell.
All right, thank you.
Work session, council may deliberate and make inquiry into any items specifically listed as a subsection of the itemized sections A through F below. Councilman Pena, Ward A announcements.
Thank you. First, I want to make a mention here, as I always do, to thank everybody that came out tonight and spoke here in public. I know it's not easy, so to voice your opinions and express your thoughts as to what would help our city move in the right direction, definitely tip my hat to you, my cowboy hat tonight. That said, I also want to congratulate Ms. Queen for all of her services she's had here in Freeport. It was nice to see that recognition thanks, Mr. Petty, for helping to facilitate that. And then also, I had a couple of items here as it relates to what we were talking about here earlier, and I'm not sure that we've had a chance to formally state this or not, but I'll state here, I'd like to call so that we have on the agenda next meeting a full disclosure of and status update for the public consumption of the investigation of Covarrubias and the collection of that $345,000. And I will also, on that note, publicly request, again, repeat, as a citizen, that the CFO, Ms. Ezell, be relieved of her duties just the same as Mr. Kelty was for his illegal wire. And if it wasn't
Councilman
illegal,
Pena.
why was Kelty fired if
Councilman,
it wasn't illegal?
You're crossing the
No,
line,
no,
sir.
I'm not.
Yes, you are, sir.
So I'm going to move on to the next one.
Please move on to the next one. Please.
So I would also like to ask for an agenda item for the downtown infrastructure financing, because here this last week there was a great meeting actually between the EDC, the Main Street Board, and the TERS Board that highlighted the plans for the EDC's 8.8 acres along the river. And what was awesome was they had wonderful pictures, and I'm sure the EDC will be glad to share, and maybe I'll go ahead and try to post the photos that I got from that meeting. And basically, what was awesome about it, they had the whole process of how that would be developed, and the first part of that was the need for new and scalable infrastructure, and that was applied for the 8.8 acres. And what was discovered on that particular meeting was that that same approach would be applied to downtown, and so that as we move forward into trying to revitalize downtown between those three groups, that and all the volunteers involved, that the infrastructure financing needs to be looked at, and for that matter, prioritized. So I'm hoping that the EDC, Main Street, and the TERS, as well as the city, can put that on the agenda to discuss and start exploring how we're going to put that in our budget going forward, or for that matter, find different grants and financing for it. So that said, I'd also like to request a workshop based on that same conversation and presentation, request a workshop of short-term rentals, as the EDC actually, in it maintaining its last meeting, that it would be looking to promote short-term rental investment in the downtown area. So maybe we can get a greater understanding of the short-term rental issues, so that the ordinance that was passed this evening can be amended so that we can legally collect taxes. Last but not least, I want to thank the police department for putting the Citizens Police Academy back on the calendar, and so I invite every resident to participate that submits an application. Thank you so much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Kane, Ward B.
Thank you, Mayor. I too would like to thank everybody that came out tonight, especially those who got up and spoke in front of council. You know, Mayor, I would like to, if I had my hat on, I'd tip my hat to Miss Anna Silbus. She put on another wonderful, well-attended event in downtown. Was it not last weekend, but the weekend before, the Community Resource Fair. You know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of ambition, a lot of manpower, a lot of women power to put something like this together, and she has done a wonderful job at creating these on a somewhat regular basis. So, Anna Silvas, if you're still, I know you're not here, but if you're watching, thank you for the good job that you're doing, and keep it up. Also, Ms. Silvas had mentioned that on March 26th, and this is important, ladies and gentlemen, March 26th at the Freeport River Place from 5:30 to 7:30, they're having a community vision session. It's everybody's opportunity to come in and speak about what they see, what they feel, what is important to them when it comes to the downtown area. So I encourage everybody to come out, participate. Let's get some good ideas in and get this moving. Thank you, Mayor. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Madam Morris.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank all the residents who attended in person and viewed online. Also those residents and visitors who spoke.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the City of Freeport Parks and Recreation staff who produced a fabulous daddy-daughter dance. I attended with my daughters, and to see the smile on my daughter's face with and the laughter, and along with the other daughters and dads, it was a great event. And so I would like to thank them for their hard work. It was wonderfully done. Great job. My last comment that I have is there was a really good article in the newspaper showing the conditions of the parks and the parks project that is being undertaken by the EDC and the city. There are meetings being undertaken with community partners. I believe pretty soon we'll be hearing some more news on that. But there's been a lot of undue criticism of this project by residents who have stated that the parks are in good condition. That's not the case. So if you don't have a child who's utilizes a park, go and drive by. We do the best, and when I say we, the city does the best with the funds that we have available to maintain them. But a lot of the equipment I played on when I was a kid. And it's just time to upgrade them from the ground up. And so I want to challenge any business who calls Freeport home or does business in Freeport to consider possibly partnering with the EDC or the city for a very good cause. There are a lot of things that could be done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Rosso, Ward D.
Yes, I'm like everyone else. I thank everyone for coming out tonight, even those that's watching us online. I did my usual ride around the city of Freeport, and I've never seen it look as good as it does. That's my opinion. Not nearly as much trash that used to always be here. And I appreciate everyone for taking it upon themselves. I know we have a cleanup day coming up, and hopefully we all can participate in that. Also, another thing is I had the opportunity to go to a Parks and Recreation meeting, and some exciting things are going to happen in Freeport, and y'all get ready for it. Hopefully everyone will participate in the Yard of the Month, the Business of the Month. So I'm excited about it. I'm also excited about what's about to happen over there, where they're going to build houses, they're going to build a track, they're going to build a soccer field. I get excited when I see new growth in Freeport. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Petty?
Yes, sir. Just real quick, just to let everybody know that this Friday, March the 8th, City Hall will be closed. We'll still be working that day, just the services will be closed because we have to move the server Friday morning to get it to the new facility, to get it all up and running. But we'll be back up and running and open for business at the new location on Monday, March 11th. Also, water billing. We had to move up the water bills by a week. So this month's bill that's coming out is only going to be 3 weeks of service. And then the following month will be 5 weeks of service. So you'll see a difference in your water bills. It'll be a lot less this time, but it'll be a little more the next time just because of difference in the usage on the billing process. Because we had to get everything billed out and processed prior to us being able to get moved and get the server in place to make sure everything's up and running.
So the bills for March are lower, but the bills for April will be bigger?
February will be lower and March will be higher.
Okay. And then also, when is the cleanup day?
April 27th. And we'll also be working like we did last year to put out a no permit yard sale weekend prior to the cleanup. That way we can try to get a lot more things out of the city. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going into executive session regarding consultation with attorney, update on City Hall pursuant to Section 551.071B, deliberations about real property, and then an update on Heritage House pursuant to Section 551.072. This time I'd make a motion to allow Lance Petty in the executive session. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And all those in favor say aye.
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 Mayor, can I make a motion to allow the chief in executive session?
I'm sorry?
I'd like to make a motion to allow the Chief Howell in executive session.
I'm sorry, say it again. I didn't hear. What'd you say?
I'd like to make a motion, which has been the usual, to allow Ms. Howell, Chief Howell, a police officer or any commissioned officer that's employed by the city of Freeport, to be in executive session for my personal safety.
Okay, so we have a motion. I'm not going to repeat it because it's too long. Is there a second? Is there a second? Hearing none,
That's
motion
integrity.
fails. Thank you.
That's integrity.